Hey y'all, welcome to the Q Spot Podcast with your host, Quabila Jones, bringing you real and relevant conversations. Be prepared to laugh, cry, and take notes as we dive into each discussion. Stay tuned. With special guest Carla Farris-Lee discussing Pretty with a Purpose. Alrighty, hi Miss Carla.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you today?
Doing well.
I'm so happy to have this discussion. This has been a long time in the making,
Yes.
and so we're going to dive into it a little. I will have to give a shout out to the sponsor of the segment, Queendom Candles. I hope everyone can see. Queendom Candles, and it's Candle with a K, has a line of queen themed candles, wonderful scents, and also a few candles for the king. So please check her out, www.queendomcandleswithak.com, and then on Facebook and Instagram. So shout out to my first sponsor. All right, so we're going to move along. And for those of you who don't know, Carla is affectionate known to me as my teacher lady friend, but she is so much more than that. You're a teacher, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a woman of God. Now you are, well, you've always been a fashionista, but now you have turned into a business. But okay, the reason I picked the topic Pretty with a Purpose is because it's more than just being pretty. It's more than just putting on makeup and dressing nice. There's a purpose behind everything that you do.
Yes.
So let's just dive right into, first of all, who is Carla? What do you want people to know about who Carla is?
Oh, wow. In short, I'll give you the short version. So
Okay.
Carla is all of those things that you mentioned at the onset of this. Carla is a wife. She is the mother. She is primarily a child of God. She is an educator. And that's education, not just in the physical building of a school,
Mhm.
but I just like education in general. She is an entrepreneur now. She will soon be an author. Yes, Pretty with a Purpose is coming to you. Um,
Oh,
yes, so she is quite a few things.
okay.
Yeah, holistically, she is just loving this journey that she is on, self-discovery journey, and in that she is helping others do the same thing. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then we're definitely going to get into some of the messages you have received from those that have attended your classes. Like every time I see you post something, like I can't tell you how much joy I feel. It's like I'm winning too. And I wish more women had that attitude towards each other that
Yeah.
when one wins, we all win. Because we don't know what types of doors of opportunities are being opened for all
Yes.
of us to share our gifts and talents. So but we got to celebrate each other, because
Absolutely.
society doesn't always celebrate us, and especially Black women.
Hmm.
Society doesn't always celebrate us, so we have to
That's
celebrate
true.
each other.
Absolutely.
All right, so look, it goes without saying you are a beautiful woman on the outside,
Oh,
but
thank you.
it has always been your spirit that has attracted me, to you as far as who you are. So let's just talk about how you allow your inner beauty to illuminate
Okay.
your outer beauty. And then have you ever encountered individuals who try to dull your shine?
Girl. I'm gonna really, really talk about that when I get into this book,
Okay.
because I honestly we don't have the time to
Wow.
even. Yeah, it's sad, but at the same time, a lot of things happen and they happen for a reason. And for me, at 44, I am learning. It's up to me how I allow those types of things to shape and mold me.
Okay.
So, of course, yes, I have run into countless, countless things as far as pretty being a negative thing, unfortunately. Um, Something that stemmed even as early as childhood.
Wow.
Um, and sadly, to this day, Yeah,
Grown people.
it's unfortunate, but not only is it my truth, it's more so, and the purpose behind even this. Um, I have a friend who calls it a whole movement, and so I'll use her word in that. Um, yeah, in 2020, unfortunately, at the age of 44, it is something that's still alive and well. It doesn't impact me the way that it did, but it is something that I see is still an issue, but I look at it differently now. I look at it as, okay, that's my challenge, to challenge that thinking and make sure that people understand that this isn't how it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are all uniquely designed. God loves us all. We were all blessed with beauty, um, all blessed with talent, all blessed with gifts. And it's just up to us how we choose to avail those things here in the earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so we want to let everybody know you are not just a pretty girl. You are a woman with many gifts and talents, and your spirit. Like, if people just took the time to get to know you,
Yeah.
I have a small confession. Like back in college, when I first met you, I thought because you were different in a different class than I was, so it's
Yeah.
like as a freshman, I felt like this, then I felt like,
Oh,
well, because like you were already established to some degree, but again, I was incoming freshman, not knowing people, and I kind of felt like I wasn't worthy. But
really? Oh, girl.
as I got older and I got to know you, I'm like, okay, so you are not this person that some people, as you say, try to make you out to be. You are
Yeah.
so warm and open and kind, and there is it's their loss for not getting to know you.
And hey, that's the thing. I don't like I said, I don't look at it the way that I used to view it. I look at it now more as that is a part of my purpose, to bring it to the forefront of uh, here's what I have learned in even launching Cee Elegance. There are women all over this world who are hurting
Hmm.
in some capacity. They're stuck. There's some things that have happened to us. We may be developing as far as age is concerned,
Mm.
but I have ran into a lot of women who are still stuck in stages where life disappointed them. And so when you have that, you get the stage of life that comes from that person.
Okay.
So if they were hurt at 6 years old, then I get the 6 year old you. And so at 6 years old, I can't expect you to do anything else other than behave like a 6 year old.
Hmm.
So that opened my mind up to different things where certain things used to frustrate me more. But now I look at them as challenges for me to, how can I help? That's what I want to do. How can I help? Um,
Okay.
because it hadn't always been that way. Even for me, I've been stuck at certain ages with the different things that I've encountered, and so I just take that as my personal mission
Okay.
to just help in that area.
All right. So you all got to stay tuned for this book because
Yes,
I'm sure you will address more of
I
that.
will. Yes, definitely.
So look, I need one hot off the presses. I need an autograph and everything.
I'm here for it. I got you.
All right. So now you launched this service, this
Yes.
business,
Uh-huh.
Cee Elegance. And so tell us about the services you provide, and also tell us about the inspiration behind the business.
Okay. So the inspiration behind the business, I'll start with that first.
Okay.
It is something that I have wanted to do for so many years. It goes back to what I said initially. One of my favorite scriptures is your talents, your gifts and talents will make room for you. And I have always pondered that scripture, and I thought, okay, it's there. I know it applies to me in some way. God, show me my true gifts and talents,
Okay.
and then help me to utilize them for your glory here in the earth.
Okay.
And so it started. mm, early preteen type thing. You know, we were all in that stage of where we were experimenting with cutting our own hair.
Girl.
Girl, a mess,
Ooh,
right? And then I don't know what, my mom wasn't playing that whole makeup thing when she said, you know, with this millennial age, honey, the children do stuff a whole lot sooner than what we
yeah.
were allowed to do. And so she was serious about when she said makeup at 16, she meant makeup at 16.
Mm-hmm.
So when I turned 16, that's when I was able to experiment with makeup and things like that. But even then, it was still, now you're not walking out of here looking like a clown. But and
Yeah.
so it started there, me just wanting to experiment with different things. I like to put things together, different looks, different hairstyle, just different fashion. So it's always been a part of me. And then I guess the older that I grew, I don't know, it's like I kind of put that gift to the side, because a lot of people know that I did go to school for cosmetology. So I have my license and I keep that updated.
Oh,
That was just something that, you know, I wanted to do. I felt like, you know, hey, let's really go for this. And then after exploring the beauty industry with that, I decided to go back and pursue education, because that was, I know, one of the biggest things that I was supposed to do here in
okay.
this earth. And so here we are, full spectrum, like back where we started, but
Okay.
just on a different platform. And so Cee Elegance was birthed from me having countless conversations with just my mentor, just different things about, I've always felt like empowering women was
Mm-hmm.
one of my reasons for being, you know?
Yeah.
And I knew that because it frustrated me when I could not do it in the capacity that I felt like I was called to do it. And so what was crazy is I thought that I was supposed to do this in one forum. And because I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I wasn't necessarily being utilized in that forum, you talk about sulking and just like, man, whatever. Just throw it to the side. And then I'm telling you, this pandemic happened, and there are a lot of negative things that have been associated with the pandemic. But for me, it was almost like an answered prayer. It was, time slowed down a bit. I saw the things that were important really resurface. I had the opportunity to really, really look at me, what I was doing, and really get into, Carla, what are you really supposed to be doing? And are you doing that? And then if you are not doing that, how are we going to fix it? And I'm telling you, just prayer, meditation, and talking to God. And then with it was like I said yes. And the
Okay.
moment that I said yes, it was like God was like, I've been waiting on you.
See, and that's one of the moments like,
Yeah.
oh my mule, like I have
Yes.
no idea.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, man, doors started opening. It was like wildfire. Like I didn't have time to catch my breath and breathe. Things were happening so fast. So it just really showed me that when you really, really align yourself with the perfect will of God, and who would have thought that this avenue would do it? But then that's when that whole other spectrum, it is so much more than just makeup. It's not, it's about makeup and styling, but it is not about makeup and styling. It is about what it is that was the seed that was birthed in me, or what I wanted to do to begin with, and that was empower women.
Whew. Look, you're gonna have mascara and eyeliner running before we get to the interview. Oh my gosh. And just what you just said, we've heard that time and time again from people who work in homeless shelters or women's shelters. And when the women have the opportunity to put on new clothes or get their hair done or whatever the case is, a renewed sense of self
Yes.
to tackle the next thing in life. And it's more than just about makeup. It's more than just about pretty clothes.
Oh,
It's,
surface.
all right.
It is so
But
surface.
we start crying. Like I cannot. I'm gonna get this interview without crying today.
Hey, it
All
is
right.
what it is. If you cry, it's okay. Tears are welcome. There's no judgment here. I might cry with you.
So we talked about, the purpose, inspiration behind the business,
Uh-huh.
and about how you have faced some of these, but have you ever had, let's just say in your adult life, you've done your degrees in education, and you're going hard in that. But have you ever had moments leading up to starting this business, you just feel enough? You just, I don't know, you were just still doubting, can I really do this?
Yes, because what's crazy is I launched this in June of this
Okay.
year, but in my mind and my heart, I know that I am behind. It should have
Okay.
been something that was launched some time ago, but that was me. That was the fear of just the unknown. And honestly, I'm gonna be real transparent here. It
Okay.
was lazy. It was like, that's too much work. Like I had a whole lot of ideas in my head, but you know how we do that. So let's talk about that. These
Okay.
vision boards. Girl, I'm not knocking the movement of those. They were great when they came out. But what I found, I'm gonna talk about for me, what I found with that whole aspect of the vision boards and us doing all of those things, it lasted for that moment. Now, some
Mhm.
people took them and really went with them. But then there were others like me. It was just a board that was created and tossed over to the side.
Okay.
There was really never any movement in that. And so, yeah, I had a lot of just, I had excuses, is the
Okay.
word. That's all it was. I can't blame it on anything or anyone except me, because at
Okay.
the end of the day, I was the one who had the power to do something different. So whatever issues that I had going on over here as to why I had not started is still, I was the core of that because I had a choice in the matter.
And I hope women, well, not just women, hope whoever's watching
Hmm.
takes it away. Okay, you can have all these ideas, but if you don't have the energy and the will to start executing them,
Hmm.
and the willpower, motivation, and whatever the words you want to put in there,
Hmm.
it is going to be ideas.
That's it.
That's all it's ever
Ideas
going to
on
be.
paper, ideas on the poster. That's it.
We also hear, we've been taught this in church, write the vision, make it plain. When you
Hmm.
write things out, they come to life. But
Hmm.
again, like you said, get all these ideas, but I got these excuses over here too. So it's like something is not lining up.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that because yes, the Bible does tell us to do that, but people stop there. It didn't say write the vision and make it plain and that it was just going to come to pass. It also told us that faith without works is dead. And so faith, if you don't put action behind what you wrote on the vision doesn't just happen just because you write it down. If it's the vision, you've got to do something to get it going. And so,
Tissue
yeah.
up in here. 'Cause okay, you know what? You are preaching to me because, yeah, I've been there, done that, wrote a bunch of stuff. I have a journal this thick, and that's
Girl,
what it is.
you talk about the journal queen over here.
Oh
I
my
get it.
God.
I get it.
Goodness. I asked about, you having to face some of your insecurities
Uh-huh.
because there was a post you made by one of your attendees.
Hmm.
Like, I started shouting, internally, like when she talked about how she had one idea when she got there, but once she got there, it was just totally different, and she actually felt comfortable open up. So tell us about that experience, without telling who that person is.
Oh my goodness. So, this person is near and dear to my heart. But what I will say about this person is that she's not one to waste words. So, just because we are friends, if she didn't mean it, she wouldn't have said it.
Okay.
Um, and so for her, like, a lot of other people. I mean, this was something new. So these people came to the first class, and a lot of it, I know they came to support their friend. Okay.
Okay.
They wanted to be there for me, and then they wanted to support it. And so, because we didn't do like testimonials or anything like that, but we started with everyone introducing themselves in the room or whatever. And one individual, candidly said, this is my friend. I'm celebrating her. I'm supporting her. If she sells tires for $50, I'm getting one. And so that's just kind of how it started. And so they didn't know necessarily what to expect of me. And I didn't necessarily know what to expect from them in that how it would be received. Because at the
Okay.
same time, we crossed the barriers of being friends. We were talking about business now. We're talking about
Okay.
my business, and we were talking about their investment in me, because these friends, just because we were friends, that's another thing. My friends don't ask for friend discounts. They don't, hey friend, I'm coming just because. No, that when I say they support it wholeheartedly. They
Okay.
would pay more before they would pay less.
Wow.
And so, just in that first class alone, I want to say we had like, I think it was 16 of us at that time.
Okay.
And it was amazing. The first class was just brows. And when I say the words just brows, man, just the conversations that were had, and it was like people were, you could see them become comfortable, and just drop all of the, I've got to be this way, I've got to be that way, because everybody came in barefaced
Mm.
except me.
Okay.
But everyone came in barefaced because, hey, we were doing the brows or whatever. And they came there as they thought just to do brows. But what they ran into was a diverse set of women, or a diverse setting of women
Okay.
from different backgrounds, because I wanted them to talk to each other and kind of tell a little bit about themselves. And so they did that. And by the end of that class, a lot of them didn't know each other. But by the end of the class, you would have thought that they've known each other for years. They
Wow.
took a
Mm.
liking to each other. And so we started a Facebook messenger like group thread. And
Okay.
so I ended up putting some tutorials in there for them to keep going and keep practicing or whatever. And without me being a facilitator of anything, you have women who had not met each other until that day conversing back and forth with each other. Girl, I can't wait to see you in the next class, because they enjoyed each other's company.
That's
um,
wonderful.
they got a chance to bond with something as simple as brows.
See, okay,
It
that's
was great.
amazing.
It was great.
And, and I can't imagine, what they took home and then how they applied what they learned and what they discussed there in their own life. I did a challenge for myself, a face
Yes.
the day in May,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to make sure people understood this is more than just me putting on makeup and having a pretty face.
Yeah.
And I took a lot from that for myself. And I can't even imagine doing it with a group of people, a group of women. Maybe some other time I'll do it with some more people. And, but just the takeaway, being more present and more disciplined,
Yeah.
being intentional. That's what I took away from me. And I hope the ladies, they take those seeds that were planted
Mm-hmm.
and they let them continue to grow and sprout and then pass it on to everyone else they meet. I can't wait to hear more testimonials.
And I think that's what's happening. Because I don't want to diminish what that individual, I did post it, but for those that didn't see the post, here's the thing with that particular text that individual sent me. If I left the earth today, I feel like I did what I was supposed to do, just from that person's response, because I know the history of that individual. Um, I knew that she was just living, um, or existing is a better word. She was existing for everyone except herself because she had to. It's not that she didn't love herself or anything like that. I know that she just didn't think loving her was as important as her trying to love everybody else. And so she was busy taking care of everybody else. And what's crazy is she ended after that first class, she sent a picture. Well, she started taking pictures after the class, and she was so proud of her brows and everything was great. And there's this picture that I will send to you.
Okay.
And I posted that, but there's this picture of her. And literally, if I did a before and an after, and when I say before, a before just before the class,
Okay.
versus her taking that class, you would see that that person was night and day. You could see life. It wasn't about her brows. You weren't looking at her brows. You saw someone who went from existing to someone who was like, hey, I need to live, and I need to live for me. And so
Yeah.
her whole demeanor changed. And from that day to this one,
Wow.
every time you see her in a picture, it's life.
That's
Life.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You are definitely walking in the purpose that God has ordained for you. Oh my God. Okay.
I
So
believe so.
I need to sign up for these classes, and it's not just about
Wow.
makeup, but definitely I would need the fellowship and the camaraderie
Yes.
of
Yes.
other women. I
Yes.
need to fix these brows too, but this is
Hey,
another
we
story.
we'll take care of all of it. Yes.
All right. So along with the makeup and the different tips, you are also incorporating fashion. Now, you have always been a fashionista. I don't know when this started, but I think I noticed about maybe 2 to 3 years ago. Um,
Okay.
every Sunday you post a picture, whatever you had on. I'm like, you know, it seemed like it's so effortless for you. And again, going back to the makeup and hair and all that, sometimes having on just clothes that match, that fit well, makes a woman feel better too. And so tell us about the fashion aspect of Cee Elegance.
So the fashion aspect of Cee Elegance is man, I'm telling you, it is amazing. I'm thinking of two clients in particular. That my very, very first client, it was crazy. I just literally, I was just adding on the styling aspect of it. And this is no joke, no lie. She and I'm not gonna identify who she was, but I've got to tell you what she did. She immediately sent me $600 just to start. And
Okay.
that was, she was investing in herself. She was like, listen, Miss Carla, I need to do this, I need to do that, I want to change my look, I want to do. And I'm thinking, okay, this is somebody who is really ready to roll. And the $600 wasn't all for me. It was, you know, her investing in her because she sent it so fast. I was like, whoa, hold on. I don't even have that aspect of, Cee Elegance, written out as far as like detail, like the makeup part was there, but when I added the styling part, so I'm thinking like, okay, what is the consultation fee for this, or what is the fee for me to do? And just because, man, but to
Wow.
see her now, it's like amazing. She was another one who, man, her background where it was like clothes. She used clothes as
Mm,
I don't want to say a costume because that's not the word, but she used clothes as a cover up, and she was
okay.
literally covering herself up completely. Like,
Mm,
she's a young girl, but if you didn't know her age, you would have thought that she was much older than what she was. But
wow.
that's the thing, when we say it's more than about makeup and styling, that was her hiding mechanism. She was thinking covering herself up was protecting her in some way because of things that she had dealt with in the past. When
Mm,
I'm showing her, you can uncover a lot of that. Now I'm not dressing anybody naked or anything like that. We're not doing that. But at the same time, uncovering her uncovered her. And she is living life with purpose and on purpose. I mean, she's doing things that she would like. Some people, there's nothing wrong with your shoulder being out, okay?
Yeah.
But there was an apprehension for her to just do certain things. I dealt with someone a couple of years ago who had a phobia about her legs, girl.
Yeah.
She wouldn't wear skirts. She
I
just
think
felt
I'm gonna do
like,
that first.
and so one day I went shopping with her and I'm like, look, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And now you cannot stop her from
Yeah.
putting on a pencil skirt. So
I
it
know
is
exactly
so
what
much bigger than makeup and styling. We're talking about going on the inside
Yeah.
and grabbing those things that have held women bound for so many years. And so as they begin to start feeling better on the outside, man, God is going in on the inside and just showing them that he loves them for them and that they were created especially in his eyesight to just flourish in this earth. And we're just tapping into it all.
Lord have mercy. Okay. I'm trying to contain myself here because you are speaking and preaching to my life. Like, definitely not going to get into all my stuff because it's not about me. But everything you're talking about, I can take, pieces of it. It's okay, Quabila. What can you take from this and how can you apply it to
Mhm.
be a more authentic version of yourself? And that's one thing I would love to see a lot of women start walking in their authenticity. Start,
Yes.
start just being who they are and stop letting society tell you and dictate who you are. Like, okay, so I have some extra pounds. So my skin is this shade. So my hair is kinky. So what?
So what?
you
So
know?
what?
So look, I want I'm speaking to the women. Where
Mhm.
you at? Wherever you are, ladies. Start being your more authentic self.
Yes.
So what? Pimples, freckles, kinky hair, straight, long, whatever. Be you.
Be
Just be
you.
you.
Embrace it. Embrace it all. Yes.
Yes. And look, if people knew some of the stuff I had to endure and what I'm embracing, okay, whatever. We're gonna move on. 'Cause again, this is not about me, but your
Yes, it
words.
is. Yes, it is.
I'm not gonna cry because I got on too much concealer and eyeliner. So we
It listen, and guess what? It happens. It's okay. Cee Elegance can tell you which concealer and mascara that won't run, but it's okay because that is the thing. You're tapping into what you need to tap into, so it doesn't matter if you mess your makeup. Who cares? It's not.
yeah.
It's not about that. It's about the inner healing that's taking place. We can fix the makeup.
Yeah,
That's not an issue. But I'm telling you, when you begin to heal,
girl.
that's when we're on to something.
Look,
Yeah.
I could just see now a series of seminars.
Mhm.
Look, I don't know what God has in store for you. I don't know what God has told you to do, but I'm seeing seminars, and I'm not a prophet. I'm not none of that. But there's so many women who need this message. They need
Yes.
you, and you are the one that God ordained to deliver this message. Okay, okay, we're gonna move on. Oh my
Okay.
God. Okay, since you launched the visit, you talked about the support you received. And in the very beginning, someone sowed a couple $100 seed. And so, again, when I first saw that, I was excited for you because I know you
Mhm.
and what you're going to give back to the people who attend
Mhm.
your sessions. So,
Mhm.
tell us what that emotion, I mean, if you can even put it into words, what did you feel?
Listen, okay, so backing up to all of that, we had a lot of things happening. And at that moment, I was um I was putting all the businesses that I knew on Facebook, just giving
Okay.
them that was the moment that I felt like this is my protest. This is my way of
Okay.
protesting. This is my way of helping small businesses, especially small black own businesses. And so that's what I was doing. That's how all of this started. And so I don't want to say purposely, but I guess purposely waited. I knew that I was going to launch my business, but at the same time, I'm like, this isn't about me. This is about me wanting to help others. And so I pushed everyone. I pushed everyone out there on the forefront. And I made sure that I support, because I do. I
Mm-hmm.
did. I do. Um, and so the moment that I posted mine for Cee Elegance, it was crazy. I believe it was almost like 80 shares of that flyer. The comments were through the roof, the likes, loves, or whatever. And of course, we're not. But at the same time, you acknowledge that because people acknowledged you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was an acknowledgement of support. And it went from there. I was minding my own business. I had just posted that. Literally, I went out into the garage and I started working out. Okay. I
Okay.
was literally on the elliptical, girl. And I looked at my message and I said, Cash App. So I scrolled over to the Cash App and I just sat there and I was like, the individual sold, well, I mean, y'all saw it was on Facebook. They sold, and that was just the only one that I posted. Okay. But that individual at that time, $500 just, and I thought, you didn't have to do this. I was, because I'm not asking, that wasn't my thing. I wasn't dropping my Cash App name
Yeah.
for, the people to bless me. All my Facebook friends give me $2.50. I didn't do that. I can't leave it alone. Anyway, but seriously, I had a moment in the garage like, wow. And it was so much bigger than just the seed that they planted in me, because what I've learned is to allow people to, I don't want to mess with their blessing by saying, oh, you didn't have to do that, send that back, because of my pride.
Okay.
That was their way of putting seed in the ground. And so God was going to take care of them. And
Yes.
it's like, you just accept it, kill your pride, and go on. But man, you talk about a trickle of emotions. And when I posted that, girl, if I post all of the support that I got financially, physically, just emotion, just everything, from people calling, texting, emailing, cash apping, PayPaling, I want to buy this or I want to buy that, or just sewing into me personally. It was overwhelming, to the degree that it was like a stamp of approval of God saying, you're doing exactly what I need you to do. None of this is about you, but it's about everything that I've called you to do. And so the gift was starting to make room for me. And I just walked. I ran with it.
That is amazing. And oh my gosh, I hope that people again take away from this message. Once you step out and stop being afraid and allow people to move how they're going to move in your life through God,
Yeah.
And accept it. That's one thing that I have a hard time with sometimes, accepting. I've been like you. Oh, you didn't have to do that. That's okay. But no, if God ordained it and God fixed it, just let it happen.
Mhm.
And I hope more women. We're gonna talk to the women. Like, this is, we don't celebrate ourselves enough. Society doesn't celebrate us. So we're gonna talk to the women. If someone wants to bless you and help you and support you in any way possible, let them.
Let
Put
them.
that pride aside.
And here's the thing, you got to understand, because I can hear women as well. Everybody, here's the thing, you cannot dictate what's in a person's heart. Okay. So the word tells us that we look on the outward, but God looks on the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so if any individual sows into you per se, and they did it for any other reason other than God laid you or your business or whatever on their heart, if they did it for any other reason that had nothing to do with God, he'll deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what I have a friend. It's above me. It really is above me now. So
That's right.
roll with it.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So, okay, I'm trying to calm down a little bit here.
Girl, you are fine.
I am just, I can't tell you again how happy I am for you. And then not just for you, but for the women that you're going to impact. And then here's what happens when these women, especially if they're married or dating or whatever, or have children, what impact you make on them is going to carry over into their home life. They're going to be different women. Their husbands will notice, their children will notice, their employer may notice that there's a new light in this person. So it's just so much bigger than just a makeup session.
it, that is so true. Real quick story about another client that I was with, and I'll just say this individual is doing very, very well, very, very well in life, to the degree that they are a medical professional. They are a doctor, okay?
Okay.
And so we were doing some things, we were getting some things together, and I was, I don't want to say challenging, but I was, they showed me something, and I was like, well, what if we do this? And let's do that. And they were like, you're taking me too fast, whatever. And so here's the thing. I'm not going to force anything on them. I'm going to, I work for you per se.
Okay.
But at the same time, we do have that understanding that I work with you, but you hired me to do a job. And so they allowed me to do my job. But again, when I tell you, it is so much bigger than makeup and clothing or styling or whatever. We kept going on and on and on about different things. And that individual who on paper, you would think, and that's one thing we've got to stop doing, trying to measure our lives with other people.
Oh, girl.
Okay. That individual just at random just said, okay, I said it, I'm insecure.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, out of all of the people that could be insecure, sweetheart, you shouldn't be one of them. But that's the thing. You don't know what a person is dealing with. So it would just behoove us really to mind our business, make sure that we are doing what we are supposed to do, because I'm telling you, you can have, and I'm not necessarily, I'm not talking about this individual at all. I'm just thinking of all of the people that I have come in contact with, where you would think that they have the money, they have the homes, they have the cars, they have the nice things, they have this, they have the power to do and purchase whatever. And a lot of people look at that on the outside, but they don't look at the person as an individual. And I'm treating everybody like you're an individual first. Okay.
Yes.
You can have all of the riches in the world and still be broken. Money cannot buy you happiness. It can buy some things that make you happy momentarily, but it cannot buy you genuine, authentic happiness. It can't buy you the love of yourself. You can replace those things with, if I want to go out and buy 10 Louis Vuitton bags, whatever, okay, go for it. But that did not fill the void of feeling empty. It did not fill the void of thinking that I don't matter or I have low self-worth. It's
Wow.
Cee Elegance is larger than makeup and styling.
Yes, ma'am. And what I'm, getting and hearing is that, okay, we need to also, and I say we collectively as women that have reached a certain level in life, need to start reaching back to younger ladies, because they talk about going to school, getting degrees, getting jobs, houses, cars, material things. But again, you're just putting a band-aid over your brokenness. You have to be whole, mind, body, and soul. It's
Yes.
one thing to have the job, the car, the house, and the husband and the kids. But if you're still dealing with this stuff over here too,
Mhm.
this over here doesn't matter as much. Like, so we need to fix the whole person. I know, little plug for Fullness of Joy. They have what they call a total man ministry.
Mhm.
And so we need a total woman ministry. There needs to be a ministry for the total woman, healing from inside out. And again, I'm not a preacher, minister, prophetess, none of that, but I do believe in healing. And I do believe that until you heal from some things, you can have stuff, but that's all it's ever going to be, stuff. So,
That's it. And so to really send home what Cee Elegance is, it's ministry.
ministry.
It is ministry. The makeup and the styling gets me through the door. But when I walk through the door, I leave so much more than just makeup and styling. I tap into all of those things that we just discussed. So that's that gift and that talent making room for you. But if I just had the mentality that all I'm doing is makeup and styling, that is my avenue to get to the people that God has destined for me to cross paths with. That's how I get in the door. But once I get in the door, that's when God begins to download. This is what, listen to this person. This is what they're going to tell you. This is what you need to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all, we gonna get through this interview. Yes. This is just so amazing. Like, I was excited. I've been excited since the first day I reached out to you to do this interview.
Yes.
And you never know what's going to transpire. You never know. Like, I could have a whole list of questions, but you just never know who's going to, and the message that he's going to send through this interview. So I really hope that other people are just as touched. I can't even express my emotions right now. I'm just, I don't know, I'm just happy. So I can't thank you enough for doing
No,
this.
thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
So, all right. So let's try to keep it calm. But so far, how many sessions have you done? And then how many more do you have already booked, I guess you say, for the rest of the month
Oh,
of the year?
girl. So the if the people had their way, I would be doing something every week. And
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, y'all, it takes, because here's the thing, I don't rush things, because when I tell you it's ministry for me. I
Okay.
really listen to, okay, what it is that I'm supposed to do. What am I supposed to touch? How am I going to make it different? Because you want to give the people what they pay for and
Mhm.
some. And so far, I have completed on site, as far as like in a large setting, well, not a large
Okay.
setting with COVID and everything, but an on site, what would be considered a large setting for the class. I've completed 3 of those. We started
Okay.
with the brow class. We did the second class was total eyes, all eyes
Mhm.
on me. So we did shadows. And then we added brows with the shadows and then lashes. And so, because I didn't want to just go full in, full out with the whole face and have folks
Mhm.
like, I want everybody to be comfortable. And so the third class that we just did a few weeks ago was the total face. So we
Okay.
did I don't want to say a basic, but we learned the mechanics of just the face. And see,
Okay.
the biggest thing is they receive knowledge in how to
Okay.
and why this does this. My classes are not designed just to show you how to put makeup on.
Okay.
It gives you that teacher in me wants to provide education. All of our faces are not created equal. They
Mm.
learned about face shapes and how to properly highlight and contour, why the face shapes and the placement of that highlight and contour matters.
Yeah.
They learned about skin tones, because I don't want my folks going to any store and people are just selling them products that they don't need. Like, so it's educational as well. So they're learning about their skin tones, if they're cool, warm, neutral, all of those things.
Yes.
So those 3 classes, and then I have another one that's about to come out. I want to say it's going to be that 2nd or 3rd week of September.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was gonna be a great one. That one's gonna really be a fun one.
Okay.
And then as far as the one-on-ones and the virtual, I have lost count. I would really have to get my appointment booked to tell you those, because I'm doing a virtual class or a one-on-one almost every other day.
That is wonderful. Like, I need to, like, when I tell you, like, I think I do an okay job sometimes. I get my eyebrows, when they don't grow, they don't even grow the same height. So that's a challenge.
We talked about that too in the class. That's education. Yeah. So.
Oh God. And then, just how to match up, because I get kind of stuck in this rut of sparkly shadow, whatever kind of lip, so it's like, okay, I need to find a way to mix and match it, like really mix and match it, and just not be afraid of color. I gotta stop being afraid of.
Everything has a purpose, even down to the brushes that you own. Like, I had one client, bless her heart, I went over to her house and I was like, we're throwing this away, we're throwing that away, and you stay away from buying, 50 pieces for $28.99. Okay, because out of the 50 pieces, you can't use but one of these, because your brushes matter and they have specific jobs. And so that's another thing I'm looking out for my client's dollar. I'm like, you're not buying all this stuff. You don't need it. To do your face daily, I will give you 8 full brushes that will last you a long time, and you can go.
Well, I'm happy to say at 43, I finally have a full set of brushes. Like, I was one of those. I had, maybe 3 eyeshadow brushes, and they really weren't for the purpose that I was using them for. But I finally have invested in myself.
Well, good.
If you see my makeup drawer, you're like, you need to clean, like, it didn't. Anyway, that's another story. It needs to be organized.
That's funny.
I know what stuff is. That's all.
That's what matters. That's what matters.
Oh my goodness. Now if I can stop buying, like, I have a gazillion eyeshadow palettes. If I can stop buying eyeshadows.
Yeah, that was an educational thing too. I challenged them. Why are you buying those? So we talked about things, especially in this last class and in the eyeshadow class, just the educational aspect behind it. Transitional colors, what those are supposed to do, where this glitter or shimmer stuff should go and where it should not go on your eyes. That's a whole nother segment. But so just the conversation and the education of it all, man. When I say I love it, they love it. They're like, I didn't know that. And I'm like, so you have like 35 shallots that are really pretty, but you're never gonna use them. So if you multiply 35 times the 20, let's just say $20 that you spent on all 35 of these palettes. No, sis. No.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about how many eyeshadow palettes I have over here.
I understand, but how many of them do you use?
And then lipstick. Oh God. Okay, that's another story. We're gonna move on because look, you can fuss at me in private.
I will. I'll talk to you in private about it.
Okay. All right. So look. This has been awesome. Like, and I can't even imagine the feedback that is to come from the rest of the sessions, and how many more ladies are going to be lining up to take your classes. And I know that at one point, I think even the first class, you had to cut it off. Like, okay, ladies, it's full. I can't take no more people.
And then I let one more person in. I was like, girl, listen, but she was slick with it. She saw that sold out. She saw sold out. And she just sent her money anyway. And I was like, but I know you saw sold out. But we had a blast. I was so glad that she came. We had a blast. Yeah, it was great.
Oh my God. So you talked about, some of the tear-jerking moments and the heartfelt messages. Is there maybe one or two that just stands out above the rest?
Two of them for sure.
Okay.
The one that we talked about earlier, like I said, just seeing that individual, and then she actually sent me that message before the last class. Like
Okay.
I woke up that morning and I was starting to get dressed, and it came through. So I see her name. Of course, I'm gonna look at it, and it read, "Friend, I know you're getting ready for today." And she couldn't make that class
Okay.
because she had obligations with her son. But here's the thing, she paid for it anyway, and then she gifted it to someone else. When I say she supports, she supports. So she gifted the class to someone else. So she goes on with this message, "I just want you to know, when I first came, I thought that it was, hey, I'm supporting my friend. Go learn how to put on some makeup or whatever." But she said, "But I am seeing that I lost my way with me. And I can tell you that your classes have helped me to live again. They're helping me to learn how to love myself. They're helping me to see that I matter as well." And she said, "And for the first time in a long time, I feel pretty." Man, you hear that word and you're thinking, that's a little word with little girls, but little girls who've turned into little women, big women. That part of you never ever, it doesn't matter. That was going back to that young girl where she lost her way with feeling pretty, and she went all the way back to that age and picked that baby up and said, "You're really pretty." And so she grabbed her and said, "Now come on over here to the 40-plus-year-old me and let's live."
Yes.
So that was one. And then I had another one, which y'all will probably know who this is because you saw it. I had two friends who recently did photo shoots for the launching of their businesses and books and all of that. And the messages that they sent me, or even put on my business page, it's one thing. Your friends, if they're really your friends, they're going to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, every and you may not always like it, okay? And your friends should be the ones that are the most honest with you. And so for my friends to tell me that they didn't see me as Carla, their friend, but they saw me as Carla, the professional who took care of them very intimately, every detail. Like, one friend was freaking out about her wardrobe. I went over and I'm like, "You're not wearing that. You're not wearing that or that. We're going to, no, let's start this over." And so we did everything, got everything ordered, got everything in on time. And something that we think as simple as makeup, she was like, "I've never had my makeup professionally done." Well, here I am. I'm not necessarily considering myself the word professional makeup artist in front of me, but I'm like, but why not?
What?
But she saw me as that, viewed me as that, spoke of me as that. And she was like, to the most intricate details of like me taking her shoes off and buckling her shoe. So like when they had to do was show up.
Wow.
They got made up. Every wardrobe change, I was changing them. I'm like, no, I'm working. This is what I do. I'm taking care of my client. You're not my friend right now. You're my client. So, yeah.
And when I tell you that photo shoot, I told one of them, the one that had on all the yellow, I was like,
Uh-huh.
your pictures are giving me so much joy. Like, because I know her.
Yeah.
Again, I met that lady in college. We started college together. And so I knew parts of her journey.
Yeah.
And when she went through some personal things, relationships things, she shared that with me one-on-one. And seeing her where she is now and how she's glowing and thriving and just like, okay, Kobe,
Yeah.
okay, Kabila, you can have that same joy. You can have that
Yeah.
too. You have to open yourself up and allow yourself to heal, to whatever, to yield to what is happening. Oh my God. So anyway, and then the other one, I called her my little friend. She's so precious. I can't even imagine what that day was like for you and for them. Like the pictures, I know don't tell the whole story. Oh my God.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh
Not
my
at all.
God.
Just the surface. Just the surface.
Wow. And then the photographer, we have to give a shout out to Andre Daly. Oh my God. He's amazing.
Drew at Edgy Studios. He's the man. Yes.
He captures you in a way that you never thought was possible. So one day I'm going to let him capture this, but I don't know. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up before we start crying and having moments. And okay, what are some final words that you would like to leave to wrap on? And to drive home the Pretty with a Purpose message.
To drive home the Pretty with a Purpose message. Everyone, every single one of us has purpose. Men, women, boy, girl. But in particular, I am working with women. And so I speak to all of the women to understand what it is that you are supposed to do in this earth. Seek help. It's okay. If you don't know something, to ask. But Pretty with a Purpose, man, I wish the book was done, because I know it is going to speak to the hearts and mind of a lot of women. They are going to connect with this. I would say that, especially now, I'm going to specifically go directly to, because that word pretty has had a lot of negativity behind it. There are some women that are, for lack of a better word, drop dead gorgeous. Okay. But they hate it because it has been such a negative stigma associated with that. I was one of those women. I never referred to myself as pretty. I never said, oh, people that know me, my friends, they would tell you, Carla doesn't refer to herself as pretty, beautiful, gorgeous, any of that. Now, it wasn't that I did not think that I wasn't pretty or wasn't beautiful, whatever. Or I had bad self-esteem or anything like that in that regard. But because I allowed what society and then the things that I went through, being pretty cost me a lot of things. Being pretty brought bullying. Okay. And this is the childhood, Carla. Being pretty drew a lot of negative attention. And even when I tell you, on this side, being this age, in some of the strangest places that you would least expect, okay, you're like, wait a minute, now we're not doing this in the church house, are we? Like, people don't know you, so they take this snapshot and they run with it, and you get bougie. You get, she thinks that she's better than others. She's unapproachable. She's intimidating. And a lot of the people that I heard making those comments never approached me, never gave me the opportunity to get to know them or them get to know me. But again, my approach with them is different. I initially was offended, but being offended is a choice. So I stopped being offended and I started asking God the why behind. Like, if you hear a certain thing, you hear people saying certain things all the time, you've got to give some attention to it and wonder, okay, am I playing a part in this? Is it something that they're saying that could be true? How can I do something different so they won't see that? But then once you have done that, you will see whether that's your problem or their problem. And when I realized it was their problem, then it was like, okay, how can I help in this regard? Because I'm not going to take this personally. This is the hurt you speaking.
Okay. And one thing I forgot to mention early on is that you are a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
I am.
And they are also, society and these stigmas and these labels, and so again, going into the pretty girl thing, it's been said for years, AKAs are the pretty girls. And so how have you been able to live that down or squash that concept?
First of all, let me turn for that. No. First of all, pretty is what pretty does, okay? That is something that society placed on Alpha Kappa Alpha. Okay. Our headquarters, we don't have Pretty University at the top or Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, aka Pretty. That's what people deem. Again, you're talking about a powerful organization of women. Okay. You're going to have fruits and berries in everything that you do. So what we cannot do is allow the bad choices of one or few to define us all.
That's right.
And so those that I know, the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, they are brilliant. They are intelligent. You see their minds first before you see their prettiness. Okay, you're talking about people that are CEOs of businesses. You're talking about surgeons, physicians. You're talking about attorneys. You're talking about the vice presidential candidate of the United States. Okay, so it's so much more than a pretty face. So we don't walk around with the hashtag of pretty. That's not what we were founded on. That stuff that's in the streets.
In the street, okay. And they can kick rocks with bare feet. Okay.
You said it. I didn't.
Okay. If y'all didn't know, Kabila's quiet, but it's a little bit of gang. Just a little bit of gangster in this girl.
They say that about me too. And I'm like,
and we would be remiss if we didn't mention the Round Table Queens. Yes, you're also part of the Round Table Queens.
The Round Table Queens, honey. And when I say queens, they are queening. That is another powerful group of women who are more than pretty faces. You're talking about administrators. You're talking about business owners. You're talking about real estate brokers. You're talking about a director and an owner of a real estate school. You're talking about professionally based therapists. You're talking about authors. We're talking about educators. We're talking about women who are empowered, but who are also empowering other women.
Yes, and I know each one, and I love each of y'all. Oh my gosh, we got to get together again and have another little chit chat. We might have to make that happen right here.
Absolutely.
All right, so as we wrap up, I just again say thank you, infinity, for giving me your time today, sharing your insights, your excellence, your ministry, your just everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. It was great. I hate that we didn't have enough time to really go into a lot, but hey, that is the anticipation of you awaiting the book. So when the book comes out, Pretty with a Purpose, you gotta get it and find out what exactly is she talking about. I'm gonna tell you all about it.
Right.
Shameless plug.
No shame here, girl. All right. So we're gonna just end this on. Oh, first of all, I dropped your email address on the bottom. So anyone who wants to get in touch with Mrs. Carla, Cee Elegance1@gmail.com.
Yes.
Reach out, get your style needs met.
Yes.
And get some ministry in the mix. So please reach out to Mrs. Carla. But I want to ask some just for fun questions. All right. So Mr. Ricky, he calls you and says, okay, pack a bag. We're going away, but keep it light. What are 5 makeup items that you would take? And then what are 3 outfit types that you would take?
5 makeup items I'm going to take. So I'm going to take things that, so with the brow, if you do your brows and you have, good skin, you can leave out of the house with no makeup, a good brow, and you're good. So
Okay.
I would definitely take a brow pencil and probably some concealer.
Okay.
If I had to add on to that, I would say maybe a light foundation, a good lip,
Okay.
and maybe a powder to keep that liquid and that moisture away. And that's about it.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh, a lash, girl. Got a
Gotta
good
have a
lash.
lash.
Gotta have a good lash.
And that's what I need to get into because these little wimpy thing, I don't know, girl. I need to just see you. We just gonna have a whole session.
We got you.
All right. So like what outfit types, people want to take the whole closet, but like what outfit type or I guess you say types of outfits or outfit pieces like would be essential.
So you said light,
We're
depending
talking
on
like
the time of the year.
okay.
So we're talking about something now, a good maxi. Maxi can look like anything. I don't want to say it look like anything. When I say it can look like anything, it could be one that's strapless, it could be one with a spaghetti strap, it could be one that's a wrap, just something light and dainty.
Okay.
What else? Something comfortable because you just never know. So always skinny jeans just seem like they're always in order. Something very simple. Uh what else? Something simple, cute shirt. You can pair jeans with any cute shirt and dress it up or dress it down.
Okay.
And that's three. Isn't that three?
Okay.
Okay.
So a dress, a pants, and a top, but
Yeah.
things that are
Simple.
interchangeable.
Yeah.
Okay. And then should ladies keep an essentials bag ready, like with classic and timeless pieces that never go out of style?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Timeless pieces that never go out of style. So at one while, everybody thought that my favorite color was black. I love black. Black is just a classic piece. Black and then white as well. And people
Okay.
are scared of white. And I don't know who told us that we couldn't wear white after Labor Day.
Okay.
I mean, maybe the shade could change, but I'm like, who said we?
Who said
Anyway, um, classic crisp pieces.
okay?
Black, I love black. So I just feel like anything, a wardrobe that has a black timeless piece in it, you just can't go wrong. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, and a lot of times simple is better. If
Okay.
you accessorize the outfit, you make the outfit personal and your own. So yeah,
Okay.
accessories matter.
Okay. And then last but not least, and then again, these questions, for those who don't know, I always do things with a purpose. I'm intentional.
Yes.
We're going to have another session
Okay.
on these topics later. So that's why I'm asking now. People can start thinking on it. And then Mrs. Carla can start putting together another discussion. But anyway,
Okay.
so what maybe 3 to 5 clothing items should every grown woman have on hand? Blazer, jumpsuit, whatever. Like, what are 3 to 5 items every woman should have?
So I want to go from one spectrum to the other, especially if you're in the professional world arena at anywhere. A blazer, power blazers are
Okay.
just that. They're powerful. Again, you can dress them up, you can dress them down. Of course, you get the blazer that's associated with the season that you're in. You don't want to have on a
Okay.
wool blazer in the spring or the summer. You're gonna die. But blazers is a phenomenal accessory or item piece that you want to have. A good a good skirt
Okay.
goes a long way. Again, I'm thinking in the professional arena, things that just can go across the board and
Okay.
not be misinterpreted in any way. Same thing with a good pant.
Okay.
Um, and it's your choice. It's your preference. Some people like the bootleg cut. Some people like the wide leg cut. Some people like the more tapered. But you
Okay.
want to have the things that you want to be most comfortable in, and the
Okay.
things that make you look good. So what accentuates my body may make the other person look horrible,
Okay.
and vice versa. What looks good for them may not look. So you got to learn your body shape, your body all of that. And you've got to put on. So why are we talking about that? A great undergarment. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's talk about that. Because listen, some of this stuff, I love us. I do. And we are fine and fine in our own right. But honey, I'm about to hit 50 real soon. And so we gotta understand that a lot of our stuff that stood up and then was sperm and all of that is just not. I mean, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids later, husbands, years, it's okay. Foundational garments matter, and you need good ones. So that should take out all the rest of them. Invest. I don't care what size you are. Invest, sis. Invest. It just makes your clothes lie better. It does.
Yes, ma'am. We want to look our best, and it's okay to accept your curves and whatever you look like, but make it put it together and make it look like something. Put it together. And on that note, we're
about to get in trouble now.
Okay, so we're gonna leave it there. Again, ceelegance1@gmail.com. Look, schedule your one-on-one session with Mrs. Carla for all your makeup and fashion needs, and you will get some ministry in the mix of all of that as well. If you would like to reach out to me to book, to sponsor a segment, the Q Spot, qsj@gmail.com. You can find me on all the social media platforms. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you. And I didn't shed any tears and run my eyeliner of the day.
Funny. I love it. Thank you so much for this. This was awesome.
But
we definitely got to get together and do this again.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you, Mrs. Carla. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And
thank you, dear.
Everyone, please keep Mrs. Carla in your prayers. She's going into the classroom next week. And the babies are ready for Midley.
Midley on the way.
To come. Oh, guys. So it's been wonderful. And I will see you later.
All right, my doll. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pink sugar kisses.
Bye, girl.
Bye. Thank you for watching the Q Spot Podcast video edition. Don't forget to join the Q crew so you don't miss a beat. Follow, like, share, and subscribe to all of my social media platforms and the major podcast platforms. And as always, pink sugar kisses. Mwah.